Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. Noah left a $2 super chat donation. Apparently Noah can type and send messages, but none of us can see them. Noah does say hi. Make sure you follow him over at NoDQ.com/Noah. All right, so we have Smackdown Live to discuss with Elimination Chamber less than, how long is it now? It's less than 2 weeks away, about a week and a half until the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. How's it going to everyone out there in the chat room? Tony H, Numbnuts, Braden, Virtues here, Dustin, Gary. Thank you all for tuning in to NoDQ Live. I appreciate the viewership. Let's go ahead and get this review started. So we had Charlotte Flair come out for a promo to kick off the show. SmackDown this week was in Everett, Washington, which is a suburb of Seattle for those of you that are not familiar with the region. Video footage was shown from Raw between Becky Lynch and Stephanie McMahon and the whole melee. But there was one part that was focused on where Stephanie, to try to get Becky off of her, kicked Becky in her bad knee. And I guess that's supposed to be aggravating Becky's storyline injury. We had Charlotte talk about how Becky's arrogance got the best of her. And Charlotte said that she hopes Becky is ready for WrestleMania, and then mocked her and the fans chanting for Becky. So Charlotte somewhat acting like a heel in this segment. She said that, unlike Becky, she is 100% healthy and would love to face Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania if Becky doesn't get her act together. Caleb Jacobs with a $2.22 super chat donation. He says, Stone Cold Becky Lynch. It would have been perfect if you did a $3.16 super chat. Oh well, thank you nonetheless for that. Speaking of Stone Cold Becky Lynch, Becky came out through the crowd, and Charlotte made sure to point out that not only did she get beat up by Ronda Rousey or punched out by Nia Jax, I forgot what she referenced actually, but she said that Becky was also stealing Roman Reigns' entrance. Becky then got in the ring. The security guards were out there and they were trying to get her to not go into the ring, I guess. But Becky just basically walked into the ring, got in there face to face with Charlotte, and talked about how Charlotte was boring the crowd to death. And then we had Triple H come out. Gary, with a $2 super chat donation, says, dude, to be honest, I feel that they are over pushing Becky. Well, WWE is trying to build up Becky for the main event spot at WrestleMania, and I still feel like that match is going to close WrestleMania. So if you're gonna close WrestleMania with the women's Raw title match, you want to push the challengers as much as possible. You want to make as big of a deal out of Becky as possible. Now, the question is Becky's push being overdone? And I could definitely argue that point. Mike B with a $5 super chat donation says, sorry for the bully comment last night. You, good sir, you were the GOAT. Well, Mike B, I'm not mad at you or anything. I'm just saying those types of comments, you start insulting how people look or how they talk or how they act, somebody out there will constitute it as bullying. I'm just saying, I don't have an issue with your comments, but I could see how somebody out there would have a problem. Here comes Dustin with the 316 super chat. Thank you for that. Give me a hell yeah, more Becky, more money. Well, there you go. Thank you for that, Dustin. Caitlin says that the Becky push does not feel forced at this point. So there's going to be different opinions on it. My biggest issue right now would be that it's just feeling like too much of a Stone Cold copycat. In 1997, Austin had the injury, and then the McMahon, well, I shouldn't say the McMahons, now it's the McMahons, but back then it was just Vince, and then it was Lawler and JR and Sergeant Slaughter. They were all trying to talk some sense into Steve Austin, and then he just kept beating them up. Same thing going on here with Becky Lynch. We saw it on Raw. She beat up Stephanie, and then we had Triple H come out there this time to confront her. Aaron Joel with a $3 super chat says, I'm 3 minutes late, so $1 every minute late. Well, thank you for that, Aaron. And, if you want to be 20 minutes late one day, I would have no problem with that. But anyways, Triple H, again, told Becky to get checked out by the doctor. Long story short, he said to go home. That's specifically how he worded it. And Charlotte was in the background. This was funny, actually. Charlotte's in the background just mocking the whole situation, mocking Becky. And then Triple H is like, leave the ring. This doesn't concern you right now. Go. So that was funny. I did like that. And then Becky responded to Triple H by saying that she doesn't trust him. So again, it's Stone Cold 2.0, the whole thing where Becky is not trusting people. And guess what? That was the same gimmick that Steve Austin had. Don't trust anybody. So now Becky Lynch doesn't trust management. She doesn't trust authority. So Becky's like she doesn't trust him. And again, Triple H was like, go home. And then he started to leave the ring. And that's when Becky asked, how's Stephanie? Triple H was upset about this, that Becky was bringing up his wife. Triple H got back in the ring, called her a self-destructor, and just started talking smack about her. The crowd started doing the what chants at Triple H. Triple H told the fans to shut their mouths. So apparently he's a heel now. He was defending the honor of his wife, and now he's a heel apparently. I don't know. This was hurting my brain, but whatever. I'll just let it slide. I'm nitpicking, I know. Triple H then brought up how that Becky Lynch might be afraid to go to the doctor, not because of the fact that she might be injured, but the fact that she might actually be okay. And Triple H said that Becky just might be scared to face Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. Becky was, of course, furious by this, so she slapped Triple H. Triple H didn't really sell it. Triple H basically just stood at her. They had a stare down, and Becky left the ring, and that was that. So, was this an effective segment? Could more have been done? Could it have been done a little bit differently to not be so much of a Steve Austin copycat? I don't know. Dustin with a $2 super chat says, day after WrestleMania, the return of the Smoking Skull belt. I don't know about that, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with Becky Lynch next week. Will Vince be the next person to get in her face and try to tell her, you need to do what's best for business. You need to see the doctor. And will Becky punch out Vince? Will that be the next step in this storyline? Red Raven Rucker with a $2 super chat says, I'm a fan and honored to be part of the NoDQ Galaxy. There's only one. Thank you very much for that super chat. Much appreciated, and it is a pleasure to have you as part of the NoDQ Galaxy. Power Packers 90 with a $5 super chat says, this is just to get Charlotte in the match because they will not book it as the main event without their golden girl. Sad they think they need her. That is a very, very interesting point there. And later on the show, there was a recap shown of the beginning of SmackDown. And Corey Graves was mentioning the idea that if Becky is not going to be reinstated, then that should mean that the runner-up of the Royal Rumble gets the spot against Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. So we could have a situation where Becky doesn't get cleared. Maybe she gets fired or something after punching out Vince next week on Raw. And then we have Charlotte take the spot, only for Becky to return and then that's how you get to the triple threat. So would not surprise me if that's the direction. I did enjoy the segment, but again, I feel like it's too obvious to me at least that it's just a ripoff of Steve Austin circa 1997. I felt like the stuff Becky was doing before was a little bit more of her own thing, but now I feel like it's becoming more of a copycat act. Just my opinion. I don't necessarily feel there's anything wrong with it because you have a lot of younger fans now that are not going to be familiar with the 97 period, and that's scary to say. I mean, that makes me feel old, but I'm guessing there's a good amount of fans out there that don't even remember Steve Austin in 1997, and that's crazy to think about, but, you know, that was over 20 years ago, and we are getting old. And not that everybody watching this is old, but I know a lot of you are in your late 20s and 30s. So that was a long time ago. That was practically a generation ago. Mike B with a $5 super chat donation. Is it just me, or does Triple H turn more than the Big Show and Natalya combined? I don't really count all the Triple H turns, but I could definitely see where you're coming from with that. It feels like 1 minute Triple H is a good guy, the next minute he's a heel, depending on the situation, and it's a little nutty. So, yeah, I agree with it, and I'm not really a big fan of it, but, you know, to quote Triple H, who stole my quote, it is what it is. And I did catch that, Triple H, using my line, you son of a bitch. So, I think I said pretty much everything I wanted to say about this segment. You know, eventually, storylines are going to be rehashed. It's going to happen. You're going to have recycled storylines. I do consider it nitpicking to a degree because it was over 20 years ago. What really bothers me is when WWE rehashes a storyline that's like 1 or 2 years old, which they've done before. To me, that's just really lazy. I get it. You want to make Becky Lynch the biggest star possible, so you want to pattern her after the biggest male superstar in WWE history. I get it. I just wish maybe there was a little bit more creativity and it wasn't so obvious that it was Becky trying to be turned into Steve Austin 2.0. So moving on here, we had a recap of Rusev and Lana attacking R-Truth. By the way, no R-Truth on this show. I don't even think he had a promo unless I missed something. Tony H with a $2 super chat donation. Becky Zamboni driver next week. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Becky doing stuff like that. But again, would not surprise me if Becky shows up and Vince comes out and that's the next angle on Raw. Maybe it'll be Shane, you know. Vince will be last, just like with the Steve Austin storyline where it was Slaughter, Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler, and then Vince. So maybe it'll be Shane McMahon as the next person to confront Becky. Say, Becky, what are you doing here? You know, try to be all cool, calm, and collected. Although he does have his own storyline going on, so maybe not. Maybe it will just be Vince coming up. Vince will be the next person to confront Becky. Maybe it won't happen. Gary with a $2 super chat donation says, Sir Rift, your facts and opinions best for business. Well, thank you for that, Gary. I do appreciate that comment. Thank you for the super chat. Virtue says, I'm bringing this up on the review. Big debate this week. So there you go. For those of you wondering if I had any more to say about Becky or if Virtue and the Bearded Bandits, if they had anything more to say about the Becky Lynch storyline, make sure you tune into the NoDQ review this week. I'm sure we'll be talking more about that. So we had the Good Brothers. We had Anderson and Gallows up against Rusev and Nakamura. Their first time as a tag team. They were teasing a little bit of dissension because they're a new tag team. So that was fine. Lana was on the outside trying to get Nakamura back in the ring, was yelling at him, and she even picked him up at one point, and it actually worked. So the team succeeded. Rusev hit the Mashka kick to Carl Anderson to pick up the victory, and there you go. So Rusev and Nakamura, new tag team on the rise in WWE, and we still don't have poor Aiden English, which makes me very sad. I'm sad now. So we had Paige backstage, and this was her only appearance on the show. Paige did a little backstage introduction for the Fighting With My Family trailer, the same trailer that we saw on Raw. Would have been nice if we saw something different. I mean, how hard would it have been to show a different clip, or maybe just like a short scene from the movie? Why do you have to show the same exact trailer? I don't get it. I would think you would change things up, but yeah, whatever. Caleb Jacobs with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Caleb. Lynch316 says, I just broke your wife. Ooh, that's a good line there. Maybe Becky should use it. I'd tweet that to her. Maybe she'll give you a retweet or at least a like. So where are we now? Okay, Usos had a promo, and this was promoting next week's SmackDown. Next week on SmackDown, it will be Miz TV. Shane and Miz will be interviewing their opponents for Elimination Chamber, the Usos. Usos cut their promo. Shout out to Akil in the chat room. First time watching live. Thank you for watching live. I do appreciate it. And Virtue's still going on about Becky. We got to move on here, Virtue. No more Becky talk. We've talked enough about her tonight. I know she's the man and all, but we got to take a little break here. So the Usos cut their promo, blah, blah, blah. We had Mustafa Ali versus Randy Orton. This was a good match. Randy Orton, in the end, though, prevailed over a very game Mustafa Ali. And we had a really cool finisher. We had Ali go up for the 054, but then he got knocked off the top. And as he was coming down, Randy Orton hit the RKO for the victory. I liked it. I thought it was a cool finish. Wow, I just got thrown off by Kayfabe Candy Ass. Good job, Kayfabe. You just threw me off with that. Good job. Yeah, I really like the RKO. I mean, Orton does some really cool RKOs, and this one was no exception. Apparently, he gave Mustafa a black eye or something, like he stomped on his face by accident, and Mustafa posted a picture on social media with his eye. He did come back out at the end of the show, so he appears to be okay. So yeah, this might have been the highlight of the entire show. I mean, good match. I did like the RKO. And then afterwards, we had Samoa Joe come out and attack both guys. He put the coquina clutch on Orton. And then we had Joe just calmly walk to the back as Daniel Bryan made his entrance. Joe cut a promo backstage, and Joe got pushed really strong on this show. I don't think he's winning Chamber, but he did come off very strongly on this show. Akil says, it is 3:26 a.m. in England. You're keeping me entertained. Well, thank you for that. I'm glad I can provide that service. I do try my best here to entertain everyone. Brave Warrior has to go, though. Thank you for tuning in, Brave Warrior. I do appreciate it. And by the way, if you guys enjoy the site, you enjoy the channel, you enjoy the live videos, please consider picking up a t-shirt, NoDQ.com/shirts. We have almost 30 designs, and there's a lot of interesting ones to choose from. So head over there, NoDQ.com/shirts. Back to the review. We had Daniel Bryan come out, and I was curious as to how this was going to play out because this week's SmackDown was in Greater Seattle. And the announcers, and I think the announcer, the ring announcer, even acknowledged that Daniel Bryan is the hometown guy. Bryan cut this promo, and he did not even try to turn heel with this crowd. Like, I was thinking he would say something to put down Seattle, but he did not. It was kind of like Bret Hart 1997, where Bret was a heel everywhere but Canada. So I guess the new Daniel Bryan is a heel everywhere else but the Pacific Northwest. So there you go. Bryan said that the Seattle fans and the Washington fans understand what he's trying to do. They're intelligent people, and they understand that we as a society need change. But unfortunately, Bryan has to speak to a global audience, an audience of people that eat deep-fried animal carcasses And he said the WWE title has always been a symbol of excellence, but lately it's been a symbol of excess. Then Bryan said that the new title was brought in to be a symbol of change. Then we had Eric Rowan start cutting a promo, basically agreeing with Daniel Bryan. The crowd was doing the what chants at him, and Bryan did a little bit of ad-libbing here and actually did knock the fans a little bit by saying, "How dare you say what to my good friend Eric Rowan?" At this point, we had Bryan show the Elimination Chamber video package of how brutal this match is, in case we've all forgotten about how brutal the match is. We had Bryan say that the title cannot go back to the past, the people need him as the champion, and the ignorant masses need him, and most importantly, the planet needs him. And that was the Bryan promo. I thought this was great. Again, Bryan is just on point every week, doing a fantastic job with his promos, and arguably he's the most interesting character in WWE right now. Save the planet, Daniel Bryan. So we had Jeff Hardy cut a promo saying that he won't tell Daniel Bryan to shut up. He will make Daniel Bryan shut up. And then we had AJ Styles confront Jeff Hardy backstage. Next up, we had Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville cut a promo, and Mandy brought up how Naomi has not pinned her yet. This led to a triple threat tag match, Iconics versus Naomi and who is the partner for Naomi? Wow, I'm blanking here. Carmella. It was Carmella. Sorry about that. Naomi and Carmella, and then Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And Mandy Rose ended up pinning Naomi. I guess they're being called Carbella. I'm not sure where that came from. Virtue said Carbella in the chat room, so I don't know what the deal is with that, but whatever. Caitlin's like, no, LOL. Curtis Butler says, take better notes. Nah, I don't think so. I think I'm going to take even worse notes now that you said that. So Andrade cut a promo, and he said basically his beginning starts with Rey Mysterio's end. And that was that. I will say, I do like the fact that we had more promos on this show. It gave people TV time at least. And I also like the fact that for the most part, we don't have the selfie promos anymore. I think Mustafa Ali did a selfie promo, but besides that, like, everyone's doing normal promos with a normal camera, which I like. I just was never a fan of the selfie promo. I think it was a failed experiment, in my opinion. Then we had an Asuka video package, and this was her only mention on the entire show. Asuka did not actually appear or cut a promo, just a video package for the women's champion. Then we had the main event, Daniel Bryan versus Jeff Hardy. Interestingly enough, Jeff Hardy was on the verge of pinning the WWE champion with a Swanton Bomb, only for Eric Rowan to pull out Jeff Hardy, causing a disqualification. And Steve-O's here. Steve-O J, I'm glad the words aren't on the screen like it's Sesame Street anymore. As am I. I am definitely happy about that for sure. So Eric Rowan caused the DQ. Daniel Bryan put the LeBell Lock on Jeff Hardy. And this led to Samoa Joe coming back out, attacking Daniel Bryan, putting him in the Coquina Clutch. And then we had Randy Orton come out. Mustafa Ali, fresh off of his black eye from Randy Orton, came out, cleaned house a little bit. But then Eric Rowan grabbed him in the claw and then choke slammed him through the table with the claw. I like that. I like the claw into a choke slam. That should definitely be Eric Rowan's finisher now. A little bit of a throwback to the old days with the claw. We had AJ Styles come out, who reportedly has a hernia, and if that's the case, good for him, coming out there and still doing physical actions on the show. AJ came out, hit the phenomenal forearm, and stood tall in the ring. And then we had Daniel Bryan backstage just completely snap, talk about how Rowan did not help him. Rowan's just his his intellectual friend, and he did it all by himself out there against Jeff Hardy. And then he said he would be the WWE champion forever because that's what the planet needs. And that was SmackDown. Good show as always. SmackDown is typically a very enjoyable show. 2 hours, flows nicely. We had some nice build for Elimination Chamber. We had a cool RKO. Daniel Bryan was great. Becky, Triple H, I mean, that did advance the storyline. So I did enjoy the show. Was it a great show? I probably would not go that far, but it was good. So good means B. I'm going to give it a solid B+, which is pretty much the standard. I mean, SmackDown is a solid show most of the time. Ryan gives it an A-. James Riot Ruby gives it an A+. Wow, he loved it. Caitlin with a B. TK with a B. Kieran with a B. Michael Wayne with a B+. Chris Mace with a B. Lots of Bs. Caleb Jacobs B+. Mayor of Peepsville a B. CC Drink with a B-. Curtis Butler with a B. B for Butler. Nick Glavin with a B. And Alex Stravaganza with a hard C. So there you go. Good ratings for SmackDown. Good show. We got NoDQ review coming up. I'm sure Virtue will debate more about the whole Becky Lynch storyline. We got the big trivia match coming up soon. Greg versus Mark. Mark was the winner of the tournament. He will be facing Greg in the final match of this season 6 of Wrestling Trivia Challenge. So stay tuned for that. That should be going up this weekend. I'll be back with more NoDQ video. And hold on, don't go yet. Mike B with a random question to keep me on here for a few more minutes. Since there's been a lot of face and heel turns lately, who is going to be a heel to face turn? Very interesting question. Yeah, there have been a lot of baby faces that have turned heel, like Elias going back to being a heel. Maybe Dean Ambrose? I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, who do you see possibly turning face soon who's currently a heel? That's a very interesting question. I don't know if I can think of somebody off the top of my head, but maybe you guys can throw some ideas at me. Gary with a $2 super chat says, F-. Disappointed because no RKO on Nia Jax. Boo. Well, there you go. Maybe Nia Jax will get dirty deeds, or maybe Nia will just beat Dean Ambrose in his final WWE match. Who knows? Alexa Bliss face turn. I mean, that seems to be the direction that she's going babyface. So that may have already happened. Samoa Joe, I could possibly. Well, see, Joe is just such a good heel. I don't think it's necessary for him to go face. He does a great job right now as a heel. The brain inside a head says, thanks for uploading content and all the hard work. It is appreciated. Well, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoy the video, please spread the word and tell a friend. Amit with a $2 super chat says, Bryan's belt or Edge's rated R spinner? I like Bryan's belt. I think it's really creative. The rated R spinner, basically just John Cena spinner with an R logo. But Bryan, they actually made a cool looking eco-friendly belt. I like it. I think this Bryan storyline is great. Definitely one of the highlights of WWE right now. Based Ash Ketchum with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, let's go. I caught you at the last minute, Aaron. Shout out them New England Patriots, the Super Bowl champions, baby. Hashtag Tom Brady, the GOAT. Hashtag go for 7 rings. Well, there you go. I could not pick Tom Brady out of a photo lineup. But I'm happy for you, my friend. I'm glad you're happy that your team won. Oh, sorry if I butchered your name. Amir? I thought it was Amir, but I apologize. I'm very bad at pronouncing names, so I often screw up. That's why I'm so happy when WWE shortens the names of talents like Otis, whatever his last name is. I'm glad he's just Otis because I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. So I think he's just fine as Otis. And there's quite a few people where I have trouble pronouncing their names in WWE. I'm still not sure if I know how to pronounce Okada's name. I think it's Kazuchika Okada? I don't know. But why does everyone in wrestling these days have such difficult names to pronounce? Based Ash Ketchum with a $2 super chat says, of course, shout out the NoDQ Galaxy also. Yes, definitely. Shout out to everybody in the NoDQ Galaxy. Quick plug, for those of you looking for something to watch after this, Virtue and Big G will be doing their live video. Let's get them to a record-breaking 15 live viewers. So head over to nodq.com/virtue and check out WWE Talk with Virtue and Big G. I'm sure they will talk about a bunch of different topics from Raw and SmackDown. Looking at some of the comments here. Did anybody else have suggestions about face turns? Let's see. Seth Rollins heel turn. Yeah, we were talking about... Oh, Caitlin said, shout out my dad. How's it going, Bill? Thank you for watching. And I hope you enjoyed JD as well. I know that he sometimes gives you a headache, just like he gives a lot of people headaches, but he's a good guy. And I'm glad that he's part of the wrestling universe. We got to have some variety. You know, I try to be neutral with my opinions. JD is just... He is intense, man. He holds nothing back. Based Ash Ketchum with a $2 super chat says, one more thing, buy a Virtue shirt. Yes, go buy a Virtue shirt over at nodq.com/shirts. Those shirts look sweet, I gotta say. Dustin with a $2 super chat. He says, does your hand get tired from all the clickbait? No, but you might want to ask that question to the Wrestle Talk guys. You know, if I'm going to be salty, I'm going to be salty because I clickbait all day, yet I'm not nearly as good at clickbaiting as Wrestle Talk TV. And they get their signs at Raw, support Wrestle Talk. They have 100,000 plus subscribers. JD, he's just angry all the time. He has over 100,000 subscribers, and I'm still stuck at 58,000. So can we change that? Can we get up to 60,000 maybe by WrestleMania? That would be really cool if we could, but I cannot do it without you guys. So you got to support NoDQ. You got to tell a friend. You got to know somebody out there who watches wrestling. Go tell them. Just force it on them. Say, I'm not asking you to watch NoDQ. I'm demanding you watch NoDQ. Make them do it. And Manuel, see, I'm not good at pronouncing these names, with the $2 super chat says, hello, Aaron. First time actually watching live. Well, thank you for watching live. I do appreciate it. And I hope you're able to make more of these live streams. This one's been really fun. Michael Wayne's like, no, not that clickbait crap. I agree. Well, I try my best not to do the clickbait. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I am running a business after all, so if I get questions for a Q&A and there's 10 questions, I'm going to pick, for the headline, I'm going to pick the most interesting question that I think people are going to want to know my thoughts on. So somebody asks me, do you think John Cena could potentially go to All Elite Wrestling? I'm going to answer the question, and guess what? I think it's an interesting topic, so I'm going to feature it. And I'm going to put a question mark to let everybody know it's not a statement. I'm not reporting it as fact. And you can see right there in the link, it says opinions. Yet people don't even notice that. So whatever. That's my rant for the night with that. We're done with that. But if you guys can help out, let's try to get to 60,000 by WrestleMania. That's my goal. 60,000 subs by WrestleMania. So I'll be like 6/10 of the way to getting one of those YouTube plaques that they send out to people that have 100K subs. So tell a friend, anybody you know who watches wrestling, have them check out NoDQ video, have them check out NoDQ live. Maybe I'll even do another Spin-a-Rooney if I get 60K subs, or maybe I'll put myself through a table. who knows what crazy thing I'll do if we hit 60,000, but let's try to make it happen by WrestleMania. 60,000 subs. Maybe I can actually get Kayfabe Candy Ass to do a video with us. Maybe. I mean, I'm not a miracle worker, but I'll try. Caitlin says RKO somebody. Maybe I could RKO Virtue if we hit 60,000. I'll go all the way out there to Cleveland just to give Virtue an RKO if we hit 60,000. Maybe I'll let him give me an RKO. Never say never. All right, guys, so on that note, I will wrap up this edition of NoDQ Live. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting the website. I do appreciate it. I'm not the angriest person on YouTube. I'm not the funniest or the most clickbaity person on YouTube, but I try my best to give the most honest and fair reviews of WWE programming. So if you like it, please share it. Please share the video. Tell a friend about NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. And on that note, I will see you guys next time. Thank you all so much.